How's it, everyone? Welcome to OpenCourt. So I got another string review for you guys today, and it's a string by, yep, you guessed it, Ytex. So today we're taking a look at the Ytex Square X. Let's check it out. So you guys know I'm a big fan of Ytex. The Quadro Twist is one of my top 5 favorite polyester strings currently. I love that string. This Square X is basically the same thing, except unlike the Ytex Quadro Twist, it's not twisted. The Quadro Twist is also 4-sided. The Square X, obviously as the name implies, is also 4-sided. This just doesn't have the twisted construction. So in my opinion, the Quadro Twist will probably get more spin. But the selling point behind the Square X is its comfortable feel and its incredible arm friendliness. Also, this string is under $10, so it's a pretty good deal for budget hunters. If you go to ytex.com and use my discount code KOkamura15 at checkout, you can get 15% off your entire order. So if you're interested in trying out Ytex strings, go to ytex.com, use my discount code Quadro Twist, Square X, Octo Twist. Those are some of my favorites. Check it out. Lastly, this Square X has a square profile, so this string, when it sits on each other, the cross section is the flat sides of the square are sitting on each other, so it provides very little friction burn, and therefore the strings will last longer. They won't break as quickly. Couple that with the under $10 price tag, that makes this a very good value for money string. Also, according to the Ytex website, although this string is listed as a 125mm gauge, the width of the string measured on the square flat edge is actually 120mm. So this string will feel and play like a thinner polyester than a typical 125mm. So this is my first time trying the Square X, so I'm going to get it strung up in my Prince Phantom 118 by 20. This is a tight string pattern, so I'm hoping that this Square X will deliver on its promise of getting good spin and also providing me with that excellent feel. So I'm going to string this up at 50 in the mains and 48 in the crosses, and I'm going to get on the court and I'm going to play with it, and I'll tell you guys what I think of it. So let's get started with the pros of the Ytex Square X. It's basically very solid, if not spectacular, across the board. Starting with the spin production, it definitely has some good spin. Not quite as much as the Quadro Twist, but definitely I could see the ball kicking and slicing nicely. I put it in an 1820 string pattern, and even with that, I could see my kick serve kicking up a decent amount, so I definitely think the spin production is there. Secondly, in a tight 1820 string pattern where slices naturally tend to stay low, the Square X definitely complemented my slice and dice style, my volleying style. My slices were nice and low, they skidded, and they stayed low below my opponent's knees so I could attack. And of course, it goes without saying that topspin ground strokes from the baseline were solid. The spin led to some good control from the baseline on full swings during rallies, and especially on the return of serves, I didn't really notice my ball sailing long, so I definitely think the spin and control go hand in hand. The Square X string was very solid in both categories. It's also a very comfortable string, and I think that this is where a lot of players will gravitate towards Ytex strings because most of Ytex's inventory are known for being soft and comfortable. Because of its soft makeup, it definitely provides decent power. It's not an overly springy string. I didn't tend to launch returns long, which I tend to do if the string is too springy and has that trampoline effect. But this Square X fit in right where I wanted. Not too soft, not too hard, just right. The Square X is also a good value at under $10. It has really good tension maintenance for a cheap soft poly. The downside of soft polys is that they lose tension faster because they're made up of softer materials, so they stretch easier. They tend to get springy and the launch angle starts to get higher. I didn't feel that at all with Square X even after 4 play sessions of it. So the combination of the good tension maintenance and the durability and being under $10, the Square X is definitely a good value for money. If you're on a budget and you don't care too much about what the higher end, more expensive strings have to offer, the Square X could definitely be a good option for you. I also think because of its square profile and its decent spin, it could be a good main string in a hybrid setup because it'll grip the ball well. It's relatively soft, so if you go to hybrids because you want to protect your arm instead of using a full bed poly, the Square X could be a good string as a hybrid main. Now getting into the cons, there was nothing really negative for me personally, but if you notice, I never once said the word incredible or amazing in the pros section, and that's because if there was one weakness of this string is that it lacks one true strength. It's pretty much decent across the board, but it doesn't stand out in any one category, kind of like a jack of all trades, master of none. It gets good spin, good control, decent power, good comfort, good tension maintenance, but I wouldn't say in any of those categories is it amazing. The spin is definitely better in the Quadro Twist. The control is definitely better in something like RPM Blast or Vocal Cyclone, where it's a little bit more muted and dead. The tension maintenance, because it's on the softer side, will lose tension a little bit faster, but it's not too soft that it's going to satisfy people with tender elbows. So it really is a solid string, but there isn't one true strength. If you have tennis elbow, go for something softer. If you're an aggressive bassliner, go for like an RPM Blast or something that has a little bit more control. Really just the spin production, I think, is Square X's greatest strength. And even with that, I would rather pay a little bit more and just go for Quadro Twist, because that one gets a lot more spin and it also has a little bit better touch. I wish that the Square X had a little bit more feel for my game. I wasn't quite as connected with the ball on aggressive swings. It felt a little bit on the dampened side. I also definitely felt the lack of touch at the net. But that's not to say it's a bad touch string. It's just Quadro Twist just outperforms this across the board, and so I would rather pay a few extra bucks and just go for Quadro Twist. But if you're really on a budget, the Square X is definitely a good budget string, and that's probably its greatest strength at being under $10. So who is the Ytex Square X for? It's pretty obvious that budget hunters will definitely love this string because it's under $10. It's right around $9.50, which makes it a decent value. And combined with its good tension maintenance and durability and its solid performance across the board in all major categories, the Square X will satisfy people who are on a budget but still want a good performing string. The danger of going for budget strings is that they tend to lack in certain areas. That wasn't the case with Square X. If you're also looking for something to test the hybrid with because your arm is a little bit sensitive and you want to still stay with poly, but you're switching to a hybrid to make it a little bit softer, the Square X is a decent soft polyester. There are softer ones on the market, but those come with the downside of faster tension loss and a little bit more high launch angle. The Square X will hold tension and keep a low trajectory much longer than some of the softer polys out there. So the Ytex Square X is one of the best strings I've ever tried under $10. I definitely recommend it to those who are looking for a budget and who do want a good spin producing string. So as always, Ytex made another good string, and I definitely recommend the Square X. If you're willing to pay a little bit more, Quadro Twist is one of my top 5 favorite polys, and I definitely recommend that as well. Thank you for watching this review of the Ytex Square X string. If you guys are interested in trying this one out, or the Quadro Twist, which is my favorite, or any of the other Ytex string, check out ytex.com. I'll leave the link to the Ytex website down below in the description. Remember to use my discount code to get 15% off your entire order. If you guys like this content and want to see more like it, be sure to overhead smash that like and subscribe button, and I'll see you on an open court.